There it is. Nuna car seat fitted to a Bumbleride Indie Twin. Okay, here we have a Bumbleride Indie Twin stroller. As an engineer, I will say this is a fantastically designed and built stroller. It comes with or can be purchased with an adapter kit that can go on here and here. And that adapter kit allows you to install an infant car seat. Here we have the Nuna infant car seat. Fantastic car seat. Adapter kit, stock from factory. But as most of the websites will say, the stores will tell you, and Bumbleride's own videos show, even though the adapter kit is supposed to be good for the Nuna car seat, it is only good for the Maxi-Cosi and Cybex. There's another one that it's good for. So if you're picky, like I am, and you want that infant child seat and this car seat, this is how you do it. Okay, so here's a stock adapter. Clicks in right there. Okay. You unclick it, pull it out, comes out with that little tab. Doesn't fit. The car seat hits too close. I'm going to show you in a second. Hang on. Be right. You'll see here that as you try to fit the car seat on, it hits. And that is because it is too close. The car seat is too close to the frame, also potentially too low. So we're going to make a change to that. Here you're going to see the existing bracket and the new bracket that I've made up. You'll notice that in this new bracket, I've removed the bar and replaced it with a bar of different dimensions. What I've done, I didn't do up any engineering drawings, I just laid the bar out. We did some measurements with the stroller and figured out that if we move these holes this way 1 inch, that the car seat will fit. Now I will say, having tested this first prototype bracket, it barely fits. I would suggest if you're going to do it, move it 1.25 inches. Otherwise, it's just still going to be a little snug. Okay, so to do this change out, you're going to need a few things. 1, 1/2 inch, and I used 049 wall. It might be thinner, but I wouldn't go any less than 049 wall steel tubing. Steel tubing, not aluminum. Not aluminum, steel tubing. Aluminum will not have the strength you need and will bend and break. Okay, then you're going to need a few other things. You're going to need a tubing bender. Do not buy a cheap Princess Auto tubing bender. Nothing Power Fist. You're going to want a proper tubing bender. In this case, the Rigid. The Rigid has fantastic control over the bend angle because you're going to have to get it just so. You're also going to need a hammer and a hacksaw, wrenches. I would suggest having, I guess if you're going to draw it on a piece of cardboard, you don't, but when I was doing my measurements, I had a caliper, some drill bits. I'm poor boying it, so I'm just going to use this, probably a Power Fist one as well, sitting on the pavement. And we use that for drilling and for doing some of the final bending work, also for crushing the tabs at the end. So you'll see these crushed tabs. Clearly I've crushed these tabs to get them in there. Now it appears that these bars are identical and just have the connector swapped for the 2 opposing sides. You're also going to need some fasteners. Home Depot is going to carry some number 10 by 24 thread by 1 inch long. I also suggest, just like they've used lower down, I'm going to suggest that you use Nylox. You don't want your child seat coming free. It's just safer, and you can paint them black afterwards. Some good basic metal black. I used like I think I used a semi-gloss here to kind of get that same finish as this. And you probably want some sandpaper. I also suggest having around a file for filing sharp edges, although they're going to be covered for the most part, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to paint this one after. I'll shoot some video and some photos of this when I'm done. That's about it. Drill. Oh yeah, and I keep it over here. A bench grinder for rounding off the corners. You could always do it with a file if you don't have one. It may take a little longer, a lot longer, but you're gonna have to round off the corners. I'm gonna take a little video of this on its own once I remove it for painting, sanding and painting. Yeah, all right, wish me luck. I'm gonna build a second one right now. This first one, dimensionally, I got the offsets just perfect because you're gonna notice it's not perfect. Let's just have a quick peek here. So you'll notice that it doesn't lay flat. They've got a slight twist in it. So what I'll end up doing is building this flat and bending this piece up. The holes, all the holes in this bracket are, I'm using a 3/16 bit. Yeah, 3/16 bit. Suggest drilling punching and drilling pilot holes first. Otherwise your holes. The other thing I'm going to mention, I'll show you this. Notice that the holes aren't square, right? It's tilted. That's really hard to do. You're going to have to eyeball it. I got mine close. I went a little over eyeballing it. I'll try to get the other one a little straighter. It's going to bend some because, well, these flattened tabs flex, and the whole system does have plastic connections, so it's going to flex. All right. Wish me luck. I'm headed into it. I'll shoot some, again, I'm gonna shoot some video of this so you can see the two brackets on their own, and then I'll shoot some video once I've completely replaced them, painted them, and I'll show you the test fit. All right, folks, signing off. Okay, I forgot to mention this, but you'll notice that I bolted the connecting bracket to the tubular piece. Okay, well, they didn't. They riveted it, and that's why earlier I was showing you these 1024x1s with the nylocks, and that's because they riveted it. You'll note that there is a washer here. I reused the washer, you can't see it, but it's a nice little flat black washer. That way all you have to buy are the bolts and the nylocks. Yeah, okay. I think that's it. Also note that these covers have a little bit of a bushing in them, or a boss. Pretty easy to fit. Again, they use nylocks, nothing special there. I also want to remind you that both of these brackets are opposing. They are not identical. Do not put it on the wrong way. I did that. Don't do it yourself. Here we are, the completion of our first bend. You'll notice that I've marked 0 on the tube because it's an iterative process and I need to take it out and put it back in. And the tube bender only has increments of 15 degrees, and well, so you can see our markers in between that, and you can follow the marker on the bender. So we can take this out, pull our piece out, chuck it on the template, check it, and there we have the piece that we need. All right, we've made our second bend, and you pretty much bend it till this notch lines up with the 120 degree. It springs back a bit, but that'll get you right there. Now here's the trick. This bend is required to be greater than 90 degrees. That means that any of your hydraulic press benders that you have at home are not going to work, and that you must get a bender that is capable of bending greater than 90 degrees. You'll notice that this rigid has a fantastic little feature where you can, once you're done with 90, you disengage the lock, you set it to the 90 to 180, re-engage the lock, and you can keep going with a 90-degree bend, as opposed to the inexpensive ones where you have a straight 180-degree set of handles that are very difficult to bring together on a heavier wall piece of tubing like this. So highly recommend the Rigid series. These are amazing tubing benders. Now here's the important part. On your template, even if you don't get the bends just perfect, you want to make sure that the pipe, before you cut it, or the tubing, intersects the center lines perfectly. That way you can drill the holes and make sure that it fits onto the bracket in that hole. on that hole perfectly. Okay, here we've got our cut bar and our old one overlaid. And get them just lined up so that we can mark for holes, and flatten our tube ends. Get the tube ends bent up because, as you can see, they have some camber to them. They're not parallel to the tubes. And then make our final tube hole cut here. You could also leave these 2 holes to the end, put the bracket on, mark both sides, get it at the right angle, and then try and by eye punch through it, or if you have a drill press and a jig, then you would have a much easier time. And here are the completed infant car seat adapter brackets. Now the moment of truth. Let's put this one in. This side. That side fits. Click down. There we are. Click. Of course, those things come up. I'm going to put a pin in them between this to lock them in place. But there you have it. And here we are, the completed car seat adapter kit. Locked in. All right, so here we have it. There's an original bracket. And there is a new one. You can see there's the additional inch. Holes are 1 inch forward. There's the other original bracket. And there is one of the little guys that are going to use it. Oh, don't lose the screws, please. Here, I'll trade you. You can have the bracket and Dad will take the screws. How about that? Thank you. You can have the bracket now. We're not going to need them anymore because we have new brackets. And there goes it. All right, here we are. I threw some paint on these brackets. The last time we tested this, they stood out. Now they look like what they're supposed to look like. And again, as in the previous videos, we fits just nicely. Now I'm going to note, like I did in the very, very beginning, that I moved the holes 1 inch further this way. Someone's helping push his baby sister in the stroller. Oh.
There's Dad.